thing is I'm trying to get your side of the story. You realize you did it right in front of somebody. Well, no, you let them get around you, but they physically ID'd you.
On the 23rd of February 2017, James Appleton was sitting in his truck, speaking to his brother-in-law on the phone. Then a car pulled up beside him. A man shot Appleton through the window of their vehicles. He shot Appleton in the head and then sped away. Appleton died at the scene. The police commenced investigations into who killed Appleton from that point onwards. Witnesses at the scene led police to a man many would least suspect to have committed such an act, and this man was Grant Hardin, a former police officer, and at the time, he was working at Northwest Arkansas Community Correctional Center. Hardin had a long tarnished history with law enforcement. In 1990, at the age of 21, he got a job at a police department in Fayetteville. He would subsequently go on to get fired in 1991 due to lack of effort, lack of ability to accept constructive criticism, and indecisiveness under stressful situations. After this, Hardin worked for Huntsville Police. In 1993, Hardin worked for the Eureka Springs Police Department. In 1996, Hardin was at the verge of being terminated but was ultimately allowed to resign after being accused of falsifying a report, using excessive force, and making poor decisions. Hardin won an election in 2012 and as a result of this became constable in the Benton County Police Department, receiving 65% of the vote. He became police chief in Gateway in Benton County in 2016. At the time of his suspected involvement of the death of Appleton, Hardin was employed at the Northwest Arkansas Community Correction Center. After Appleton was shot, Hardin came home and took his family out to dinner. He was visibly upset, however he refused to tell his family why. He would only tell his wife, "Just know I love you. God will take care of you." On their way back from the restaurant, Hardin and his family were stopped at a roadblock, and Hardin was taken into the police station for questioning.
Right hand, turn it over for me. Perfect. Perfect. Thanks, sir. Okay, let me see the right back of your hand. You'll turn your hand back over. Yep. Thanks, sir. And do the same thing with the left palm. Thanks, sir. And we will do the left back now. Perfect. All right. You don't have any weapons on you, do you?
No.
Okay, let me search you real quick. If you place your hands up on the wall, I'll let you go to the bathroom, okay?
Okay.
There's just keys. I believe those keys right there for you, okay?
Okay.
So where do you work at?
At Arkansas Community Corrections.
Okay. Here, I'll have that other deputy take you if you want. You want to pick that up, you can. Hey, Brad, would you mind taking to the bathroom? Of course, sir. Perfect. Thanks, sir.
Did you want me to leave that there or put it back?
You can put that back in your pocket if you want, ma'am. You know how it is.
I know how it is.
You're in corrections, so you know when we take people to the bathroom, we don't want them taking stuff in there.
Oh, yeah.
Leaving stuff and whatever. Not that you would, but you know how it works. Yeah. Or that you even may just forget it in there on accident, you know.
After carrying out a gun residue test on Hardin and letting him go to the toilet, the detective allows Hardin to put his keys back in his pockets. This may seem out of the ordinary for a typical investigation, but this is done deliberately for the purpose of theme setting, developing rapport, and developing a compatible tone with the suspect. The detective is trying to set the theme of two law enforcement guys having a casual chat. This is done to create an atmosphere of relatability, in the hope of decreasing the subconscious animosity Hardin will undoubtedly have towards the detective. Furthermore, it allows him to develop a rapport and compatible tone with the suspect. You will notice the detective trying to create relatability between himself and Hardin numerous times throughout the investigation, in an attempt of getting Hardin to open up.
There was something I needed to get from you. Are you right or left-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed, okay.
Detective Chamberlain asks Hardin whether he's right-handed or left-handed to see which hand would probably have been used to shoot Appleton. If the detective can say the hand that was most likely used was a right hand, and Hardin is right-handed, this can strengthen the case against Hardin.
I'm Detective Chamberlain. I know we have James Chamberlain.
Okay, yeah.
I know. Did you used to be a police officer somewhere? Or I recognized you, but I wasn't 100% sure where I knew you from. But somebody said that you used to be a police officer in Gateway or something like that. Okay.
And a constable and...
You were a constable here too. For Benton County?
Yeah.
For Benton County. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was thinking.
Well,
How long did you do that?
2 years. Well, I was elected one term, 2 different terms, but not
Okay.
together.
Not together, so on 2 separate occasions. Okay. You understand this. You've been through this before, so I'm gonna read it to you. Anytime we bring somebody into the sheriff's office, we read this.
As I previously alluded to, Detective Chamberlain is trying to develop rapport with the suspect by bringing up Hardin's law enforcement background. In all likelihood, Detective Chamberlain has been fully briefed on Hardin's law enforcement history, but is pretending not to know all the details. This gives conversational space for Hardin to contribute to the social interaction and dialogue, thus creating free-flowing dialogue between Detective Chamberlain and Hardin, which Chamberlain wants for 2 reasons. Reason 1, to increase the chances of a confession, and reason 2, to increase the chances of Hardin making mistakes if he decides to lie.
You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand that? I need a affirmative yes or no. Okay. Okay. Anything you say can be used against you in court or other proceedings? Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You have the right to consult an attorney before making any statements or answering any questions, and you may have him or her present with you during questioning. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. You may have an attorney appointed to you by the court to represent you if you cannot afford one or otherwise obtain one at no cost. You understand that?
Yes.
If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer, you still have the right to stop answering questions at any time or stop questioning for the purposes of consulting a lawyer. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. However, you may waive your right to you may waive your right to advice and counsel, and your right to remain silent. You may answer questions or make statements without consulting a lawyer if you so desire. You understand that?
Yes.
Okay. All I did was read this to you. I put that you said yes to all of it. If I can get you to sign, If I can get you to sign there by where I put that X by signed, right here. Sorry, I know there's too many X's on my page. That's my bad. That's a different spot than where you can print your name, and I'll sign the other side over there. I'll get back.
Okay.
The date is the 23rd, February 23rd. And it is 9:17 p.m. 2017. Okay. Here's the thing. I want to talk to you about what you've done today. Okay. Can you just take me through when you woke up this morning to when you got stopped by the police out there in what's the name of that road that you're on? I'm sorry, I'm going drunk. Gant Ridge?
I'm not going to say anything after I've been read those rights yet.
Okay. Why don't you want to talk to me about your day?
As soon as Hardin was read his rights, he immediately shows up. Hardin, being an experienced individual in law enforcement, will know exactly what those rights mean and what is at stake. If you think back, you'll notice that Detective Chamberlain tries to be somewhat delicate before reading Hardin his rights. This is because he was aware that Hardin was aware of his rights. Chamberlain wanted to keep the conversation as casual as possible, the theme almost like 2 colleagues having a chat. However, this clearly has failed, demonstrated by the abrupt response from Hardin post being read his rights.
I don't know what's going on. I am kind of sickly to what I'm here for and things.
Okay. So you don't want to explain what you've done today? Did you? Is there a reason behind that?
You read me my rights, and I don't know why. And so, what was the first thing said? I have the right to remain silent.
Okay. So you're telling me that you don't want to talk to me right now?
I'm going to remain silent.
Okay, cool. Hang tight right here for just a few minutes, okay?
Detective Chamberlain and the second detective walk out the room, no doubt to re-strategize and plan their next move. Hardin won't budge at this point, and analysing his body language, it's clear he's not majorly rattled by the detectives thus far, as he has his arms in a relaxed, open position, as opposed to a defensive position such as folding his arms. It is, however, surprising that the detectives seem somewhat unprepared for this, and feel the need to walk out, which makes them look unprepared and can increase Hardin's confidence. It's also strange how Hardin, being experienced in law enforcement, has not asked for a lawyer. The fact that Hardin hasn't asked for a lawyer could be because he wants to extract as much information out of the detectives as possible to see what evidence they have. However, that would not make sense if that was his strategy, because he could do that and probably more effectively with a lawyer present.
By the way, I'm Detective Cordier. I think we've met once before.
Probably so.
Yeah, I think so. Back when I was on patrol.
Okay, I talked to my boss, and maybe, I think I was confused, or I may have confused you on what's going on here. I can't tell you exactly why you're here, and you being a police officer, you understand that. I need to rule you out as a suspect in a crime that's been committed, and that's why we got you here, is because we need to talk to you, find out where you're at. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if I scared you at the beginning or what, but that's why I was trying to, and I can't, you see the position that I'm in, I can't tell you.
The detectives re-enter the room with the second detective introducing herself as Detective Cordero. It's ironic she introduces herself in such a manner as if she was never in the room in the first place. This is done deliberately to create the atmosphere of a fresh start. Like the preceded part of the interrogation never even happened. This subsequently allows for new rapport and dialogue development, essentially overriding the old dialogue and rapport that was unsuccessful. The theme setting of law enforcement pals sitting down and having a chat remains the constant. The second detective speaking is key in creating the feeling of a fresh start. Detective Chamberlain then proceeds to introduce the second theme, which is that the detectives essentially want to rule Hardin out as a suspect, and that he's on Hardin's side. Both Chamberlain and Hardin know that this is not true. The reason this tactic is being deployed is to try and entice Hardin into talking, and any subsequent lies Hardin tells which contradict evidence can be used against him.
I can't tell you why you're here, but at the same time, I need to rule you out into something. Does that make sense? I mean, or would you be willing to talk to me about your day, knowing that I need to rule you out of something, or like I'm at a loss here, and I need to clear you from something. And if you didn't do anything wrong today, you have nothing to worry about. And that's kind of where we're at.
Well, yes, I would have liked to, but before.
Yeah.
The rights were read, so
okay.
Not knowing what's going on.
Yeah, and you understand as a detective, we read those rights to everybody who comes in here. It's not just you, but when we interview, kids, and it's everybody. Once you come into our facility, that's something we have to do. It's not something. It's not just something we're doing for you. It happens to everybody that walks through this room and talks to us, because I mean, it's just like anything else that we do. We have to cover all of our bases, and that's what we did by reading you those rights. So we need to know. I mean, does that make sense? Like I know you've been a police officer for a while now, so you understand, how everything works, and so I've got to rule you out as a suspect. And if I can't do that, then we're at a standstill. Does that make sense? Okay, so what happened today?
And
Okay, so did you, I guess my question is this, knowing what I just told you, okay, I guess if it was me and I was, if I was in your position, I'd be like, hey, James, I did this, or Grant, I did this, I was at, here, and here, and I would just be done with it, and that way you can get out of here. But at this point, like, I can't clear you from this because you could still potentially be a suspect. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if I'm not explaining it right or what was going on
explain
here.
it fine. I just have
Okay.
to, once the rights have been read, I have to, it says I have the right to be silent.
Yes. Okay. I don't know. I don't even know what to say at this point. You realize that I'm trying to help you out here.
The second attempt to extract information out of Hardin fails. Being experienced in law enforcement, Hardin knows that Detective Chamberlain is not trying to clear him, and that this is all just a ploy to get him to talk. The body language on display is also important to note. Notice how both detectives have very similar body positioning. Both of their legs are crossed. This can indicate that either someone is internally lacking, feels threatened, thus taking on a defensive stance, or that they are concealing information. The subconscious cue that they are concealing information could very well be a factor in Hardin not talking. Also, note that the detectives are sitting on the same colour chair, in contrast to Hardin. This, coupled with the similar body positioning, gives off the subconscious message that the detectives are on the same page and wavelength. Concerningly for the detectives, the legs crossed position is a more passive position, as opposed to the more dominant and relaxed position taken by Hardin. His legs are open and his hands are rested just above his knee. This is perhaps an oversight by the detectives.
And you're just sitting here.
Well, am I free to go then?
No, you're not free to go.
Why?
Because I've got to get to the bottom of an investigation, a very serious criminal matter.
Okay.
Okay? And right now you're a potential suspect in that. Does that make sense?
I don't understand why I'm a suspect, no.
Well, that's for me to know and for you to tell me why you're not a suspect.
This is your time to kind of help us help you.
Hardin doesn't know what the detectives have, but since he's not free to go, he knows he must have something. It's clear that he wants to see what the detectives have, while simultaneously revealing nothing to them, which the detectives are not prepared to do. This has currently led to the subsequent stalemate that is currently occurring.
Okay.
Tell me this.
I do apologize on the front end.
No, I'm not mad at you.
I'm
Okay.
going to exercise my right to be silent.
Okay. So just tell me this. I know you were a police officer before, right? You're a police officer in Gravit, not Gravit, but in Gateway? It's an easy yes or no.
I'm being silent.
Well, I can see that. Where do you live at? We can do this all night. It doesn't bother me. You're going to continue to be a suspect until I find out otherwise.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute.
The female detective tries to interject in a soft, friendly tone in an attempt to break the ice, which is currently a hostile atmosphere between Hardin and the detectives. Furthermore, realizing that communication at this point is close to non-functional, Detective Chamberlain attempts to ask basic questions. The answers to these questions are not important to the detective. What's more important to the detective is getting Hardin into the pattern of answering his questions. By asking non-consequential questions, Detective Chamberlain is trying to lower the fear and admission Hardin may currently feel to answering questions. This proves to be ineffective as Hardin remains firm in not cooperating in the investigation.
Hello?
Sir. What's up?
I was looking for a detective.
You want me to get him for you?
Well, I'm ready. I need to go
You need to go where?
home or get ready for work in a little bit.
Okay, we'll just have a seat and I'll get him for you.
Okay.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
No problem. You need anything else?
No, I hate not being able to talk. But usually after they read my rights, after they read me my rights, I just feel like I need to be silent.
What do you mean?
Well, how come nobody asked me anything or told me anything before we got here or anything? Not necessarily you. You've been real good to me.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was just taking you up here, you know what I'm
Okay.
saying? I mean, they asked me to bring you up here. So, the detective is the one that has all that information.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
He said he couldn't give it to me
Oh, he did?
right now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I mean, what time do you need to be back? So,
Well,
what time do you usually get ready for work?
Listen, I try and leave by 9:15. Let's see. Well, my head's all screwed up now. 9:15, 9:30. So I can get there and sign in before 10:45. 10:45. Yeah.
You gotta sign in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you just want to get out of here, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to help, but I don't know what's going on, and I mean, y'all put yourself in my shoes, and maybe you've been there before. It just kind of makes you sickly, or
You say what?
scared, or something.
Sickly?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you said that you didn't want to say nothing. So,
Yeah.
and like I said, I would love to give you the information, but that's
Oh, I know.
way above my pay grade.
I
You know
know.
how that works.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I'm
know.
saying?
Yeah, I know.
So I try to be good to you. Get you what you need or whatever. So,
Well, okay. I just need to go if they're through.
okay, I'll let them know.
Okay.
Do you need anything else?
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Thank you. Yeah.
You sure?
No, but
Okay.
but I just thank you.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it for now.
Okay,
I'm just
all right.
ready to walk on.
All right, man. That's
You gonna
fine.
take me back home or?
I think your wife may be coming to get you or something. I think
All right.
you're married, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miranda
Okay.
and
That's what I
Madison.
thought. Okay. Yeah, I think she may be coming up here to get you. I'm not really sure though.
Okay.
I mean, they tell me about as much as they tell you. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
You know how that is,
Yeah, I know. It's just, boy.
right? So okay.
You don't want to be that guy. I mean, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
But
Well, I understand what you're saying. I mean, like I said, if
it's
I
just weird. I'd like to help, but
well, I mean, I think you can. Right?
right.
I mean, I think you can, but I mean, you don't want to talk to me, but those guys, I'll figure out I don't know where they went, but
Okay.
I'll figure out where they're at and let them know that you're trying to get out of here.
All right.
So, and let them know that you want to help. Right?
Right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Hardin tries to open the door. Whether he was actually going to attempt to escape or not, only he knows. It's possible he was just analysing and getting a feel for his situation and predicament. Hardin then tells the police officer who detained him that he wants to go. However, there is also a possibility that he's also trying to get the more junior officer to depart with information about any evidence against himself. This subsequently proves to be unsuccessful, as the police officer remains cordial, friendly, but professional with Hardin. However, he does say that he thinks that Hardin can help with the investigation. indicating he must know something. Nonetheless, whatever overall goal Hardin had by checking the door and speaking to the more junior police officer ultimately failed.
Sorry to keep you waiting so long. Okay. That's all right. Detective Cordero is talking to your wife right now. I talked to her a little bit. So I've kind of got a timeline of where you were and where you weren't today. I'm not... We all know what happened, okay? My thing is I'm trying to get your side of the story, okay?
Here, Detective Chamberlain is using the fear up technique, coupled with trying to disorientate Grant. By stating that Detective Cordero is talking to his wife, simultaneous to Detective Chamberlain talking to Grant, can disorientate a suspect, because while they're worried about what's going on with themselves in the interrogation room, they're now also trying to think about what the other person may be divulging to the police. This can disorientate the suspect and induce mental fatigue. Furthermore, the detective is trying to claim the police know what happened and that it's pointless to deny. Police do this when the evidence is strong, but also when the evidence is weak as a bluff, to see if the suspect takes the bait and fills in the blanks, when in reality, the police may have had very little. The detective realised the strategy of pretending to be there to clear Grant wasn't going to work, so he's now changed his strategy, claiming he knows what's happened, suggesting it's pointless to deny.
I don't want... I'm trying to think of how to word this delicately. I'm not trying to get you in any trouble. I'm not trying to get her in any trouble. Okay? You've got a little daughter, she's 16, who needs her parents. Okay? Mm-hmm. I know what was said at dinner time. I know everything. Okay? I need your side of the story. Okay? I don't know if you've had a problem with this guy for a while, and this was an accident, or you maliciously chased him down, or what happened. But if I don't get your side of the story, I won't ever know. Okay? You know I know. I wouldn't be talking to you right now. I wouldn't be talking to them right now. So I want to give you the opportunity to tell me what led up to what happened today. And if I came across as being rude or upset or whatever earlier, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm trying to do.
You're fine.
I'm just trying to gather
facts. I'm not sure what happens or what's going on.
Okay.
But I just have to invoke my right.
Okay. So you're telling me that you don't want to give me your side of the story. That's what you're telling me. That I can't get your side of the story, and that's the issue that I have. And I don't know what's holding you up. I don't know what's holding you up from telling me your side of the story. Do you just don't want to tell me your side of the story?
I'm just silent.
I get that. I understand that. Like, that part you've made completely clear. You've told me several times.
I just am going to remain that way.
Okay. I guess I'm having a hard time understanding that.
Okay.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
Okay. You know what? There's no reason for you to be sorry. I think later on there may be a reason for you to be sorry, but it's not right now. You talking to me and trying to get me trying to pull the truth out of you that's no reason to be sorry.
Normally, when someone feels the need to say sorry, it's because they've done something wrong. An innocent man is very unlikely to be sitting there apologizing.
Do you realize that you're looking at some very, very serious charges here?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Well, you are. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
And if it was an accident, it was an accident, and that's all it was. But if you intentionally went out to hurt somebody, that's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story. Okay? I'll let you think about it. I'll give you one more chance here in a few minutes, and I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm telling you that.
Well, what happened?
You know what happened. I'm not going to sit here and play games with you. I'm not. I know, you know. We have witnesses that put you there. The 2 cars that drove by. Look, man, I'm not. I just want to know why it happened. Okay? You realize you did it right in front of somebody. Well, no, you let them get around you, but they physically ID'd you. Like, I don't. Look, man. I'm done telling you my side of the story. If you would like to talk to me about what happened and what happened out there, then I'm fine with that. But if not, I'm going to sleep good tonight, regardless of whether you want to talk to me and tell me what happened or not. I don't think you will. Honestly, I don't think you will. Okay? Think about it for a few minutes, and I'll come back and get you in a minute.
Detective Chamberlain continues with the fear up technique, informing Hardin he's looking at some very serious charges. He also applies the alternative theory technique to lower the admission of guilt and giving Hardin the option of saying it was an accident. Detectives believe that getting the suspect to admit to a lesser charge is easier, and then they can work on getting them to admit to a more serious charge later on.
Your wife's about to leave. She wanted to give you a hug before she left. Are you good with that? Perfect. I told her that it was fine. I don't have any problems with it.
Okay.
Just, come on in. I'm sorry. I was
That's all right. Love you too. Everything will be okay.
All right. I'll be back in a few minutes. Thank you. I guess.
Detective Chamberlain lets Hardin see his family before they go. There are 3 clear tactical reasons for this. The first tactic is to win the trust of Hardin, which so far has proven to be an absolute failure. Secondly, seeing his family could put him in an emotional state, which could make him more likely to talk. The third reason is that Detective Chamberlain wants to send Hardin a clear message. Now you're on your own.
Hey, I just thought I'd check on you.
Alright.
Do you want anything to drink, or do you need to use the restroom?
Well, I need to go pee if I can. That's all right.
Yeah, let me work it out. Well, can you help me understand how we got to this point?
I don't know.
A clear change of tactic is now being observed here. Detective Chamberlain has not re-entered the room, but instead Detective Cordero has entered the room, this time alone. Having a female detective talking to Hardin is a tactical move because women have the ability to decrease a man's ability to think rationally, which could increase Hardin's chances of talking. You will now observe the tactics implemented by Cordero. She essentially tries to keep the conversation as casual as possible, lulling him into a false sense of security, and then getting him to incriminate himself.
I don't know. Man, I remember being on patrol and running into you one night. Help me out on a call, back me up.
What?
It was way back in, oh gosh, it's been almost, I guess almost 3 years now.
Well,
Two,
Yeah, probably
something
so.
like that. Yeah, something like that. But,
you guys are always good to help us.
you know, people are going to have questions. Your family.
Well, I have questions.
Well, exactly.
So,
why can't we figure this out together?
well, we can, but I've been left in the dark on everything since.
Well, the thing is, I can't. There's certain things, but you know, there's certain things I can tell you and I can't tell you. But when you start to tell me what you did today, it starts to clear up things. Once you start telling me, I can start telling you. That's how it works. Let me help you.
Well, thank
You have to help me first.
Thank
So I
you for
can-
trying to help me.
Yeah, of course. So I can figure out what happened and what you were doing today. I mean, I've already talked to your wife. I've already talked to your daughter, who's really sweet, by the way.
Thank you.
She's a really good kid.
Yeah.
So,
Detective Cordero is using the fear-up technique by mentioning that she spoke to Hardin's wife and daughter, making Hardin wonder what has been said. However, she's also cunningly building rapport, simultaneous to increasing Hardin's fear and anxiety by complimenting Hardin's daughter.
the only step left is to talk to each other and figure out, come get down to the bottom of it. What happened today?
Okay.
Why was today any different than every other day? But until then, we're kind of just stuck.
Okay.
So, you want to talk about it?
Well, when I'm looking over there,
I know what you're
looking
doing.
at the paper.
I know. And you know what it says, and I'm not here to trip you up. I mean, I'm just being straightforward with you. I just want to start from the beginning of your day and work our way down.
Okay.
Fill in all the spots for me so I can understand. We can start from the very beginning. I mean, I know you probably slept in because you work nights. I work nights. Trust me, I worked nights for almost 4 years. I understand how that sleep schedule is.
Yeah, sleep's all
So,
messed up.
you could, oh, absolutely. It doesn't matter if you switch to day shift schedule. Your sleep's still going to be messed up for a while. I still fight it every once in a while. Did you sleep in today? Yeah. I bet you did. You could have got to work tonight, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. What time did you get up?
Oh boy. I don't even know.
As you can see, Detective Cordero is trying to keep the conversation as casual as possible, giving a personal touch to the conversation by relating the conversation back to herself. This tactic seems to be getting the most success so far, as Hardin for the first time is answering questions.
Probably around noonish.
Around noon. That's usually what time I got up too. I'd sleep in as long as I could. Around noon. Did you get anything done today? No?
Oh no.
Did you watch anything good on TV? Usually that's what I do. I'd eat and watch TV. I'll woke myself up a little bit. Anything good?
This might seem like a casual question, but what the detective is trying to do here is build a timeline of events and also catch the suspect out in a lie. If Hardin says he watched something at a certain time, the police can check what he watched and at what time to help build a timeline of events. They can also use this information to see if Hardin is lying, which the prosecution can use to discredit Hardin's character, making him look dishonest in front of a jury should the case go to trial.
Same old stuff
Oh yeah?
on TV.
You watch the same episodes? Or like, do you have a specific TV show you wake up and watch?
When we watched, my wife always has it on I can't remember what channel it's called, right now, TV Land.
Oh, okay. What shows play on that? Like Andy Griffith and stuff like that? Yeah?
I think they've been playing a lot of MASH.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not too crazy about that, but
No.
it's on.
It's a little before my time. I haven't really watched any of that. I couldn't even tell you what it was about.
Yeah, it's a Korean
Oh yeah?
doctors and they have a field hospital at the Korean War
Oh, okay.
stuff.
Alright.
It's really just kind of a comedy.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's not too bad.
Does your wife like that?
Oh, well, I think she'd rather watch other stuff, but that's on, you know.
Yeah. Well, I guess that gets her by until something better comes on, right?
Yeah.
So did you watch that today? Was that on today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any movies? Anything good? Anything else?
Let's see. They had, well, there was that, MASH. watch Gunsmoke.
Oh,
That's
okay.
always on there.
Yeah.
And then watch the Mad Max movie that they had there.
Is it the new one or the old one?
That's the old one.
You know, I've seen the new one. They just came out like last year.
Well, it doesn't make any sense then, did it?
No.
Yeah.
I didn't really. I guess I should have probably started with the first
Yeah,
one.
it's kind of crazy.
Is it? Was it?
But
good?
my daughter had seen that.
Oh,
And so
okay.
got her the other one to try and get her up to speed because it just didn't make any
It
sense.
didn't. I couldn't tell you what was going on even if I wanted to.
Well,
So is the first one good too?
oh well, it's kind of dated, you know.
Yeah. Do you have any cool cars other than a Honda Civic?
Forgive me again. I just.
Oh no, you're fine. I'm just curious.
You're good to talk to. Like,
I didn't know
I got a
she.
headache and
You want me to see if I can find you something?
No, that's all right.
I'm sure I could. We got a pharmacy around here somewhere.
I'm just wondering what's
Going on.
well, if I'm going to be charged with something or.
Well, did something happen today?
That's what I wanted to know. Evidently, something did happen
What
today.
you tell
I'm
me?
silent,
I know.
I need a.
I'd rather talk about cars anyway.
I know, me too.
I'd rather talk about. Is there any cool cars other than a Honda Civic?
Hardin is clearly tired of waiting and wants to know what's going to happen to him. He could also be mentally and physically tired due to how late it is, coupled with the trap-laden casual chat with Detective Cordero. This may encourage Detective Cordero to continue chatting because if Hardin is mentally and physically exhausted, this will decrease his resistance and increase the likelihood of a confession.
Anything fancy?
I'm just. What do you call it? The paper again.
Yeah. Oh, great. We don't have to talk about cars. We can talk about something else. No, I get it. I'm just trying to.
And I
lighten
want
the
to
mood.
apologize, but I'm just going to stick to my rights. And
Why are you
being
here?
silent.
Here we see a sharp U-turn from the casual chat when she asks why he's there. A sudden drastic change in topic of conversation can often disorientate a suspect and catch him off guard, which will also increase mental fatigue as the suspect's mind quickly attempts to catch up with the shift in topic and the confrontation.
Right.
I guess that's the main question. Why are you here?
Why am I here?
Do you have any idea?
Why am I here?
Instead of answering the questions, Hardin repeats the question. Perhaps because he's trying to buy time as his mind processes the confrontation.
Yeah. Do you have any idea why you would be
When
here?
you guys tell me, I will. Nobody's told me anything. When I sat in that police car or deputy's car for a long time,
Yeah.
nobody told me anything.
I just didn't know. Well, sometimes you gotta wonder if somebody has to tell you first. Like if you know something I don't.
But the reason y'all are asking, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of the way you have to look at it sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. That's why, when Detective Chamberlain came in here, he wanted to talk to you about if you had, what you had done today, or if you had seen something happen, or witnessed something happen.
Instead of directly accusing Hardin of murder, Cordero tries to lower the admission by suggesting he simply witnessed something.
Like you said, something happened today. It was something really bad. And if you witnessed it, then it's something we need to talk about. Because people witnessed you. So, but I want to give you the chance to talk. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather hear your side of the story versus anything else. To me, everybody deserves that right. Especially, you're a good guy. You're a good person.
The detective is calling Hardin a good person to boost the self-esteem and self-worth of Hardin and to redirect his value system based off of her criteria. She can then later say a good person would say what happened.
So, I don't know. I feel like everybody should have that chance to tell their side, especially if something bad happened. I would want somebody to give me that chance. I just want to know what got you to this point. I mean, I worked with you, so like you helped me, you know, had my back in a situation. So it would be nice to understand from you, from your viewpoint, why you would be here, what happened, or did you see something happen, or were you put in a situation and kind of walk me through it. But that's your choice, right? Everybody has a choice. You have to be the one willing to put it out there. I don't know. I feel like you've done this profession long enough. You know how things go. You're a good guy. You're not a drug dealer. You're not a child molester. You're not, you know, anything like what you've dealt with, what I've dealt with. But I think today you've dealt with a bad situation. I just want to know what happened. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna want to know, you know, want answers, especially your family. I would. No, I do. I want to help you. That's the bad part. I want to help you figure it out. All I can do is sit here and say that I'll listen, work it out with you, figure it out together. But you have to be willing to talk to me about it. I'm a pretty real person.
I don't know.
Pretty straightforward.
Nice to me.
I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's uncomfortable and nerve-wracking sitting in a room by yourself with people that you've worked with in the past, knowing the situation.
Detective Cordero is applying mental pressure on Hardin by saying it must be hard for him to be alone in the police station with people he's worked with, but wrapping it up as reassurance. She also mentions him being alone to emphasize his feeling of being isolated.
But like I said, I wasn't there. You're the only one who can kind of fill in the blanks at this point. Am I right? You don't have to talk to me, but I'm willing to listen.
I know you are.
We all make mistakes. We all get put in positions. We're all human. We all react a certain way. We all have emotions. Sometimes we overreact. Sometimes we're put in situations we don't want to be put in. Like I'd rather, you know, have met you again outside having coffee instead of seeing you for the second time in here. But I don't know. I think you just made a mistake today, or somebody made a mistake today, and I think you know what happened. I just want you to help me understand it. Because I really do. I want to understand what happened. I think you know what I'm talking about. And I think you know that some things are going to come out. And I want to be able to stand on your side and say, hey, this is what happened. And he was upfront. He was honest. And he explained it. And he cooperated.
Does he need a lawyer?
Who?
The guy you're talking about. Me.
Honestly, I think you're the only one who can make that call. But I think you're an honest man.
detectives in the US have to be very careful around this topic. Detectives are not allowed to violate an individual's rights, and it's an individual's right to consult with a lawyer. However, a detective knows they stand a better prospect of securing a conviction if the suspect is not being advised by a lawyer. Plus, detectives are not allowed to give advice on whether a suspect should consult a lawyer. Ultimately, a detective does not want a suspect to get a lawyer, but cannot deny a suspect's access to one. If a suspect clearly and concisely asks for a lawyer, the police cannot question the suspect any further until the suspect has consulted with a lawyer.
I think you've been an honest man. I think.
Well, that's good. I'm just gonna be quiet.
You can be quiet, I'll keep talking. You want to talk to me and explain it?
How long we gonna be here?
I don't know. Hopefully not very long. Why are you here? You're a smart guy. I think you know what happened today. And I just really want to talk and understand so I can get on your level and figure out what the next step is going to be. And I feel like you are the type of man who can understand that.
Detective Cordero is not trying to see things from Hardin's point of view. She's trying to secure a conviction, and Hardin knows it. Notice how Hardin's posture has changed during the course of the interrogation. It has gone from upright and confident to more slumped. His neck and back are hunched over, and his legs are now almost crossing. This lets Detective Cordero know Hardin is fatigued and losing confidence, which could mean she's closer to getting a confession.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I need to,
It's up to you.
but
You can either-
obviously something's going on and I need one.
It's up to you. I just want to hear your side of it.
I want to get a lawyer.
Okay. I can't give you advice on that. You know that.
Detective Cordero sits almost in frustration and irritation that all her efforts were for nothing because Hardin asks for a lawyer. At that point, all questioning must stop until Hardin has consulted with a lawyer. All of Cordero's rapport building, moments of success, and psychological pressure all led to nothing because she ultimately failed to obtain a confession.
Once you're tired, I'm tired.
Yeah.
here.
You're right.
Pencil sharpener.
I definitely think it's more old school. Old school than the electric one. Okay. I can't talk to you anymore because you asked for a lawyer. What I do want you to know is if you change your mind, you know my name, you can always ask for me, okay? But you have to be the one to reestablish that, okay? All right, can you stand up for me? Alright, go ahead and turn around, put your hands on your back. You're being placed under arrest for capital murder.
Sorry, you're a big guy. Okay. Alright, don't turn around for me. We're gonna walk out this way.
Okay.
Turn left when you get to this door right here.
As you saw, Hardin was arrested for the capital murder of James Appleton and then subsequently charged with the crime. In Arkansas, capital murder is premeditated murder, which can be punishable by way of the death penalty or life in prison without parole. He pleaded not guilty, but then made a confession during his trial. Because of this, he was given a light sentence of 30 years. Hardin did not give a motive for his crime. Hardin may have been locked up, but this was not to be the final chapter for his battle with the law. Hardin's DNA sample was taken, as that is the normal procedure with convicted felons. Upon taking his DNA, a lead was created for a much older case. In November 1997, Amy Harrison, a teacher at Frank Tillery Elementary School, was raped at work. The person who raped her was extremely careful and did not touch anything. This meant there was no leads. This made the police suspect that the rapist had training in law enforcement. Due to a lack of leads, the case was unable to sufficiently progress. However, it was reviewed on a yearly basis in the search of breakthroughs. Because of Hardin's DNA sample taken upon conviction for the capital murder of Appleton, the rape case from 1997 was able to progress, ultimately leading to Hardin being charged. Hardin would initially plead not guilty, but compellingly, in a turn of events, changed his plea to guilty to avoid a life sentence during his trial. Judge Robert Green sentenced Hardin to 25 years on 2 counts of rape, totaling 50 years. That sentence will run concurrent to the 30 years he was already serving for murdering James Appleton. Hardin will have to serve 21 years before being eligible for parole. At the sentencing for the rape case, victim Amy Harrison said, "I'm going to walk out of this building with my family and friends and enjoy the fresh air before I go home. I hope that my story is an encouragement to all survivors who fight for justice."